difference between being professional and being inappropriate. A lot of photographers can come off as flirty. It actually helps when you're shooting because it gives you confidence. When they're saying, hey, you look pretty, hey, you look beautiful, hey, you're hot. Okay, that's fine. You're getting a little more confidence. But now if it's like, hey, I want to take you home, let's do this. It's like, okay, now we're crossing some boundaries and admiring it and saying, oh my gosh, wow, that's me. Like my everyday self, like when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, you know?
Do you think that those hard to see pictures, the rough ones, do you think those make the good ones even better?
Wow, I never actually thought of that.
Influencer Insight shares the battles, stories, successes of models, influencers, and entrepreneurs as they find the balance of being influential leaders today while creating long-lasting impact for the future.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session of Influencer Insights, where I have Madison Nye joining me from Alabama currently. She's just told me that she's moved about 30 times in her lifetime, and she's not even 25 yet, so I'm kind of interested to hear a little bit about that. But she's got a background in customer service, and more recently, after experiencing a divorce, she's got into modeling and kind of decided to rebuild life a little bit. And so we're really excited to hear from Madison. She's doing modeling full time. So interesting to see how that story has come together for you. So welcome, Madison. Good to have you.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so excited to join this podcast with you and take this opportunity to kind of share my story and my view with my new career. So awesome. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, cool. So you'd mentioned before, divorce was kind of the reason you got into modeling. Can you tell us a little bit about that background and how you transitioned into the modeling?
Yeah, so just a little bit of a backstory on that. I'm only 24, so a lot of people are like, oh, divorce, huh? That's kind of young. Yeah, so I got married at 20, and it was a military marriage. Just want to make that very clear.
Yes. A lot
of people. Yeah, a lot of people can relate to that. Yes, distance, traveling, constantly, just changing all the time.
Yeah.
So with that, yes, unfortunately, I did get a divorce. It is for the better. So I'm good with that. So basically, while I was going through the divorce, I was like, okay, I have to restart. I'm still young. I want to just try to get my thoughts together, my life together. What do I need to do to start feeling confident and move forward again? Basically, I have been told that I could do modeling. I've always been interested in taking pictures. So I really started diving deep into TikTok and Pinterest ideas, and even looking on Instagram to get some motivation. So I've really just started doing that DIY. If you guys check out my Instagram.
Models, join us on Facebook in our group where we've got all kinds of support and training you need to become a better model today. Check the link in the description.
The first half is basically all the pictures I've taken myself. So just coming up with a lot of creative ideas, thinking outside of the box. It really helped me get out of my comfort zone, especially when I started posting. So that's really how I started getting into it. I took a little bit of a pause because I kept moving again. Mm-hmm. And then I got back into it. My dear friend, Anna Truitt, she is an amazing model. She has been modeling since she's been 12 years old, around that age. And she really got me into it. And she kind of is passing the torch on to me because she is taking a little bit of a break. So she's been really, really helpful with that, teaching me how to pose, teaching me how to communicate with photographers, how to set up scheduling, just everything like that. So that's how I really started getting into the professional aspect of becoming a paid model, basically. Sure. And this has been happening for the last 4 months.
Made some big progress, and you've got some stunning shots. So well done.
Thank you.
Getting yourself going. Yeah, big deal. Can you just go back even further for us? And as a kid growing up, did you was creative stuff part of your thought pattern, or do you have any background in arts or entertainment or anything like that, or is it just shooting in the dark?
Yeah, so funny that you mentioned that. I was actually a theater kid. Cool. So I was in musical theater and normal theater, and just for about, I would say, 10 years. I was about 9 to 19 when I really started getting into that theater and performing on stage. So that art aspect really helped with being creative. Yep. And also drawing. I used to be really good at drawing. I have put the pencil down. I really want to get back into that. But that part of that, I think that's about it with the artistic side, I would say.
Well, certainly drives in that direction. I mean, usually people have something to reference back to, but it's surprising when people don't either, too. So it's good to hear that you've kind of taken on those skills that you've had and you've developed them and used them all the way through. So,
Yes.
what getting out of the arts, being in theater, did you go to post-secondary at all, or did you married right away and then into that part of your life? Or
Yeah, so right out of high school, I did a little bit of community college. I found out that wasn't really for me.
join the club?
Yes, more entrepreneur style. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was going for.
Sure.
So I was kind of stuck in between like what I want to do. I've been moving out of my parents' house, then back in, then moving in with friends, trying to figure out what I really want to do. And then I did get married and moved to North Carolina
Sure.
for the military. Yes. And that's kind of what happened. And then I basically made myself, okay, I'm going to be a stay-at-home wife. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then it just completely switched. And I think it was for the better. So
Good. Well, sometimes all of those pieces become a part of our journey too. And I mean, sometimes in life things just don't work out, and it's better to change directions and get too far down the road in the wrong path too, right? So you said background when we were chatting beforehand about customer service. What kind of customer service you've been involved in?
I have been involved in the phone call, the in-person, sales, just kind of every aspect. I used to work in restaurant, front desk. I used to be a leasing agent for almost 2 years. That was my most recent job, actually.
Leasing agent for
Yes, apartments.
apartments. Okay.
So that helped a lot with customer service because you got to be in person and show them around. You have to sell. You have to use all different aspects of customer service. So that really helps.
Completely normal people in that job, I'm sure. So
oh yeah. A lot of angry people.
Yes, a lot of angry people.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so going for the modeling, so you've done the art thing, you've been in customer service, and then you moved into full-time modeling. What was kind of that catalyst that you're like, if you're doing leasing agent, I could see why you wouldn't want to make that your long-term career, obviously. But what made that shift, or how did you? I was just talking to Anna, and you were like, "Hey, I'm just going to do this," or did you get a gig out of the gate, or what kind of brought you forward that way?
So basically, what happened is, so I'm actually currently with somebody, my boyfriend of almost 3 years. He's amazing, and he's actually allowing me to follow my dreams. Of course, I still bring money in. Of course, but it's just not 100% consistent, especially in the beginning.
Cool.
But basically, once I was done with the leasing agent role in my life, that we moved from Florida. So it's kind of a lot. I kind of jump a little bit here. So we moved to Alabama.
We'll try and keep track,
So we moved to Alabama together when we first met. Then I became a leasing agent. Then from Alabama to Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, I was a leasing agent. Then we got a better opportunity. So I was a leasing agent in Santa Rosa, Florida, Destin area. And then his father let us know that he was giving us a house. So we decided to come back here, and I've been here for about 6 months. So basically that transition was a lot. So there's not a lot of jobs out here in this area. It's pretty country, rural area. So it's not a lot of city. That's kind of where I was at. So it was a lot easier for me to access jobs and get into jobs a lot quicker than here. So that is how I met Anna, is actually through my boyfriend, because they were actually childhood friends.
Cool.
So it kind of all went into its place. I think it just all kind of rolled into place, which was really awesome. I was like, I don't think this is a coincidence. I think this was supposed to happen. So that's kind of what happened. That's basically the story. Not too exciting, but
no, that's, it's interesting because everybody's got just such a different story on how they get started with certain things. And I talked recently with somebody, and they were just like, I just kind of kept pulled back into the modeling thing. And, modeling is certainly a calling in your life if you're going to do that, because it's a lot of work to be in front of people like that. But interesting how that's brought you together that way. So what, I guess for anybody that wanted to start maybe a little bit, like, you took some photos by yourself. That was good. What was your way into working with photographers? Did Anna introduce you to some? Did you find some TFP, or how did you jump into that end of it?
Yeah, so I would say if you're starting out and you don't know anybody who has that background of modeling or anything like that, I would start out posting pictures. I would get inspiration from Pinterest, looking at other model pictures on Instagram. You don't have to necessarily like copy it as like black and white. Do something a little bit different. Have a different outfit. Do a little bit of a different pose. If you need help with editing, reach out to somebody who could edit them for you. Just kind of playing with that idea a little bit. But posting consistent and posting daily, that is a big deal because that's what people want to see. That's how much traffic you're going to bring in, how many followers you're going to bring in. It's very important. Now with social media, reaching out to photographers first, I think that is a great step because it shows that you're interested, that you looked at their work, and you are wanting to pursue this. Now, me personally, I did get lucky with my friend Anna. She got me into the modeling industry, and she did hook me up with some photographers that were willing to pay and were willing to start me out at a really good space.
Sure.
So that is what I would say to start out like that. And don't be afraid to post similar pictures. Make sure they're not exactly the same, but just don't be afraid to post, kind of fake it till you make it. If you feel like you're not confident, just be like, you know what? Somebody might like these types of pictures.
Totally.
Because every photographer is different. Every photographer has a different eye. They have a different vision. So they could look at your face and be like, oh my gosh, this is the complete thing that I want and what I need for my portfolio, versus another photographer who's like, you know what? Maybe a different time in my life, but not right now. So it really just depends. Put yourself out there and just fake it till you make it. Fake the confidence. That's going to help you a lot.
Absolutely. No, for sure. Do you find kind of interesting with the social media thing? Do you find that sometimes the photos you post that maybe you were like, this is the best photo I've ever taken, sometimes doesn't get the engagement that a photo that you're like, this is a good photo, and you post it anyway? But have you ever found that too, that people got the different perspective than maybe you do yourself?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Is it frustrating?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm sure you feel this too. You're oh my gosh, this is like the best angle I've ever taken.
Yeah.
And then you post
6
it
likes.
and you're like, half the likes that I got on a photo that I just don't like. So that's where I'm jumping back to what I just said. Photographers have a completely different eye than what you and me have, and also what anybody else has. So they could say, oh my gosh, I love the style, I love the hair, I love the makeup, I love the angles that you did, versus a picture that you just took and you're like, this is literally the best picture I've ever taken. Yep. And they're like, yeah, but not to me. So you kind of just got to roll with the punches at that point, and you're like, hey, if they like something that I've got, then that's okay.
Let's run with it. Yeah.
Yep.
100%. Social media, do you find that I'm definitely impressed with your diligence and ambitions to be as consistent as possible? That's a tough job. Do you ever find that there's a lot of pressure in that, or is it just fun for you and you're kind of just okay with that?
So for the most part, it is fun because I like to mix up what I post, either if it's like older pictures or newer pictures. I like to see like what people like and what they gravitate toward. Sure. But also it is a little bit of pressure because sometimes if I don't get pictures back as soon as I want to, I'm actually still waiting for some pictures that were like from 2 months ago.
Oh,
so I really want to, I'm excited to get them out there and post. I'm excited to get them out there and like post, but I'm like, okay, I've got to come up with something new. I've got to come up with another shoot so I can get pictures. So that's one thing that's a little bit like pressure to me is like trying to get new content out and like just following the trends, following the fads, everything like that, and just kind of comparing yourself to another model that you see and you're like, dang, I need that outfit, I need that hair, I need that makeup done, I need that the angle, I just need everything. Who's the photographer, Yep. So that's kind of like the only thing that I would say that's kind of pressuring for me.
Sure. In your more rural area there now, do you have some photographer connections and that kind of thing out there, or is it pretty limited?
So currently where I'm at, no, but I'm only an hour or so away from Huntsville and Birmingham. Perfect. So those are two major cities in Alabama. So that's where I've been mostly going to, Huntsville. Birmingham's a little rough, so need to kind of weigh my options out for that one. But but Huntsville is pretty good with connecting with photographers out there. I've been to a few studios and a few photographers out there. They're pretty good. They usually know what they want, and they're pretty direct. So
good. Well, at least if you got some scene to work with, you can kind of build upon it, right? And make your development trip when you have time, or you can book it or whatever. So
yeah.
Coolest work that you've done thus far?
I would say, well, unfortunately, I don't have the pictures yet, but
Coming, yeah.
yes, incoming. You guys will see it hopefully soon. Fingers crossed. But I would say that the best work that's posted is the one that I've got, the red dress. I think that one is glamorous, perfect for the holidays. Yes, I've tagged the photographer in there. They actually have been shooting for 10 years. They took a break and now they're just getting back into photography. So they don't have a lot on their page, but please check them out. They are amazing. They shot very, very well, and they were really awesome to work with.
Those are great shoots. I was just scanning through your feed before we got on here. And,
I would say those are my favorite.
My three-year-old daughter, she saw that and she's like, "Oh, sandals! I love those!" And so she was really pumped about your shoes. So
that's cute.
So you're on the right track there anyway. So cool. No, that's a good stuff. Any unique locations that you've been out to yet that you'd like to do, or things that you've tried that you like to do again?
So I would say unique locations. I mean, I've been out kind of in the nature scene. There's some pictures are going to be coming out soon with that.
Cool.
I've a lot of the trees, the lakes, beaches, anything like nature. That's my thing.
Yep.
There was one shoot that I recently took. I was in a jacket and I was kind of walking down the street in a brick road. That's actually my hometown, one of my hometowns in Illinois. And it was freezing cold, around 20 degrees, pouring rain. And I stood out there and shot for 30, 45 minutes. And it was fun. It was pretty rough, but it was fun. The wind worked with me. It was all right. I would say another crazy one, again, it has to be released. I'm sorry that I don't have the content yet, but one word, whipped cream everywhere. Yes, so that's going to be a cool one. That's going to be a cool one. I think that one was very creative and a little bit messy.
What's the process for shoot? Do you have 40 cans of whipped cream there, or?
No, you just kind of pour it wherever it needs to be or spray it wherever it needs to be and you post.
There you go.
We got to make sure that, it's technically shaving cream, but it's supposed to be whipped.
Yes.
So it stays. Yeah. But that one, it was very interesting. I had to reply it, make sure it was good. And it was messy, kept getting all over my arms and my face. And I was like, oh gosh. So I had to readjust myself and wipe myself constantly. So I was like, oh, but other than that, that was pretty fun. But that was the most interesting one that I've done, having shaving cream all over me.
That'll be pretty cool to see that. So
it'll come out.
And you got to think, I mean, modeling is so much fun, because why in the world would you ever spend a day doing that anywhere, any other reason, right? So just gotta take and enjoy the chaos when you get it. So
right. Yes.
Yeah. Good. What's one of your favorite parts of being a model that you've discovered so far?
I would say a few favorite parts is the main one is being in front of the camera. Okay. As a human being, you can get nervous and you get self-conscious, and that happens a lot to me. Mm-hmm. But I feel the first 30 seconds is really rough, stage fright, performing, anything like that. You just feel I'm about to die. But
take me away.
Yes. After that, it's I become a different person. I'm focused, I'm zoned in, I'm confident, I want to do this, I'm enjoying myself, and I get to be myself in front of the camera. I don't know if that's how you feel when you're modeling. You need to continue to do it no matter what. That is the biggest indicator that you are that interested in modeling and pursuing that as a career. If you don't like being in front of the camera, I don't know if that's if you feel that connection with the camera and the photographer and the music and the people that are around you, then it's perfect. So that's one thing that is my favorite. And then the aftermath of looking at the work and admiring it and saying, oh my gosh, wow, that's me. My everyday self. When I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, And you might not like you might not like everything that they shoot, and that's okay. You might not like the outfits, the angles that they did, the lighting, whatever.
Yeah.
But there are some shots that are amazing, and that's the stuff you hold on to. You don't look at the negative like, that shot was bad. I got 50 horrible shots, but if you got one good one, that's all that matters.
Do you just let it go if like the photographer, sometimes they look at a photo and you're like, what the hey? And they're like, that's amazing. I love that shot. I love the way your look is, or whatever it is. Like, do you just kind of let that go and let them take it, or do you
so I kind of bite the bullet and I'm like, post whatever you want, but I'm going to post the ones that I like. Yeah. So if that's their page and it's my page, if I hate it completely, what I'll do, like, I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but I will untag myself from it.
Sure.
If I absolutely
cannot stand it.
It's like the worst thing. It doesn't match anything I have. Like, I don't even want to look at it.
Yeah.
That is like the most I would do. I really wouldn't reach out and say, please don't post that, because it is their pictures. You allow them to take your photo and they pay you for it, or they do the TFP, which is trade for pictures. Mm-hmm. So that is basically their photo that you are allowing to give them, so they are able to do what they want with it. So if you do not like it, I would recommend just letting it go, biting the bullet, and just don't post it or untag yourself.
Fair enough. Good tips. Yep. You got to keep your own mental space kind of healthy too, right? So
yes.
What do you do to prepare for a shoot? Do you have a zen mode that you go into, or you just walk in there, or play some loud music? Or
well, on the ride there, if I need to drive, me and my boyfriend, we like to jam out, we like to talk, we like to, if there's some concerns about the photo shoot, like how the photographer is, or
you do that right before the shoot?
Just like talking with him on the way there, just to be like, okay, like if he's like this, how should we act? Just kind of like preparing myself for any situation, and him too. And just kind of getting my mindset into being like, okay, I'm ready to be professional. I'm ready to work, because this is a job. It's not always willy-nilly, let's just throw around. I mean, sometimes it's like that, but most of the time you got to focus, and you really got to be analytic with your poses and the way you look and the way that you interact with the camera. So kind of getting mentally prepared for that, and talking about it and listening to some music, and then getting there, really connecting with the photographer on whatever you can find that's similar. Like that's how I really connect with them. I'm like, okay, what do you like? What do you do not like? TV shows, books, movies, something like that. And you connect with one thing, and it helps so much, because you can talk about that a little bit while you're shooting, and it makes you a lot more comfortable. And also putting on music that you like, kind of jumping up and down, getting the wiggles out, anything like that.
Jitterbug, eh?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, no, that's a great tip. Connecting with the photographer, I think you're one of the first people that's brought that up, actually. So it definitely is important, though, because if you guys don't have that kind of almost a bit of a mind reading thing, right, back and forth, they're like, pose this way, and sometimes it's like, and they're like, no, not like that, right? But you kind of got to get that vibe together. So. Oh, that's a good tip. Yeah. And some are easier than others, right? Some photographers, you walk in there and you just boom, make the shoot and you go home. So
I mean, it kind of goes along with anybody who's been in customer service. You don't know, you're trying to sell yourself, right? You're trying to sell in a way. You're trying to sell your brand. You're trying to sell your pictures, your character to this person. So you have to, it's like a transaction. It's like a sale. Yep. How are you going to get this person to want to shoot you again, to want to show other photographers your work, and to connect with other people? I mean, there's photographers that take videos of you and they make it like a really cool video, like for an introduction as a model. I mean, I got that. And it is going to help me a lot once it comes out. I'm still waiting. But just kind of keeping that mindset where it's like you walk in and you're like, okay, yep, I'm ready. It's like, no, get to know them first, talk to them first, connect with them first. You don't need to be complete best friends, but if you can make an impression on them, they are going to want to continue to shoot you. They are going to want to shout you out. They're going to want to help you. So that's a big thing.
What do you do to build rapport with people with your customer service skills there?
I would say that I am consistent with my communication. If you are trying to be on social media and post all the time, people are going to think that you are on social media all the time. It's kind of an assumption. So if you are not getting back with them, at least within 12 to 24 hours, it's going to look kind of like, okay, I would say that they would think of it as this person is not taking it 100% serious. Because if they are serious enough to post, but if they are not serious enough to reach out to me or talk to me or answer me when I reached out to them, then what are they going to be like in person? What are they even going to show up to a shoot? So if you're not showing up on social media, if you're not showing up with the communication, whether that's emailing, texting, DMing, then I don't really know what else to say about that. You should be able to message them back. You know, you got to do that. You got to put in some work, you know? So that's how I would say that I'm very consistent with communication and, you know, just being personable.
I'll give you a review right now. If anybody's listening and wondering whether Madison is good at responding, she is. So she's one of the top probably 5 people that I've definitely chatted with in getting together with this podcast. So yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, you do a very good job that way. So
yes.
Very important.
Yeah. Oh, it is 100%. Just stay within the lane of not being so needy, but also just communicating and being polite and being honest and upfront. That's just the best you could do, you know?
Yeah, totally. What are some things that you learned about, I guess, where you need to be cautious of when you're going out shooting with people or booking jobs or that kind of thing?
Yes. Okay. So I have a lot of feedback for this. Main thing I would say with photographers, what you're going to communicate with them, whether that's in person, if you meet them out on the street, which is not very, I would say it's pretty rare these days. It's usually all social media. If they're talking to you, reaching out to you, commenting on your post, DMing you, the main thing is what compliments are they giving you? Are they giving you professional compliments or are they giving you very inappropriate compliments? If you understand what I'm saying.
Do you have some examples
just being like, hey, where do you live? Can I come over? I'll just shoot you though on your own home. You know, it's kind of too close to comfort.
Yeah.
So anything that's not professional. I mean, if there's a difference between being professional and being inappropriate.
That's
now,
right.
A lot of photographers can come off as flirty. That is just a thing. Yep. But it actually helps when you're shooting because it gives you confidence. When they're saying, hey, you look pretty. Hey, you look beautiful. Hey, you're sexy. Hey, you're hot. Okay, that's fine. You know, it's getting you in the mood. You're feeling it. You're getting a little more confidence. But now if it's like, hey, I want to take you home. Let's do this. It's like, okay, now we're crossing some boundaries.
Sure.
So I would say looking out for that, looking out for the comments, looking out for what they're saying to you. That's a big thing. Also, I would recommend for any shoot, especially as a female, try to bring somebody with, whether
especially
it is
on a TFP.
Oh yeah. Yep. Also, especially for TFP, bringing a family member, bringing a friend, bringing a guy friend or family member or significant other, anything like that. Now, you don't necessarily have to let the photographer know that you're bringing somebody because that shouldn't ever be a problem. But if you want to let them know ahead of time, it actually could be a really good indicator if they are a professional or not, because they should never have an issue with you bringing somebody.
Yes.
If they do, don't do it because obviously they have another agenda in their head with they are wanting to do something to you that you were not comfortable with. They're wanting to pressure you or something worse.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I have heard a lot of stories where people have gotten drugged, people have gotten close to trafficked. It's very unfortunate. So just being aware of that and keeping your eyes and ears open and also having a gut feeling of like, ooh, he's kind of being a little weird with this shoot and he's not letting me bring anybody. Don't do it. I don't care how much they're paying you. Don't do it.
Have you ever had a photographer say, hey, you're going to bring somebody, don't worry about it then? Those kind of things?
Yeah. Yes. I had somebody who wanted to fly me to a different state, and I let them know that my boyfriend will be traveling with me because he travels with me everywhere. And they said, sorry, it's not going to work. Can't do it. If it's a girl, I'll do it, but not a guy. I'm like,
wow.
it's a red flag, dude.
Yeah.
You
Sure,
know?
bro.
So, okay, I understand. But yeah, I didn't talk to them anymore. So
Yeah.
basically those two things are a big indicator on being safe before you go to the shoot, I would say.
Sure. Good. No, absolutely. Yeah, the amount of stories that are out there, people just being taken advantage of, and
Yep.
it's frustrating because it taints the art and the work that you guys do have possibility of creating something good together, right? When people take it to a degree that it shouldn't be, right? So,
yeah, a lot of scammers out there. Yeah.
just a few, yeah, especially on the internet. You kind of wonder some days, it's like, do you not have anything better to do with your time than to walk
Right.
around?
I know. I get so irritated. I'm like, I'm having a full hour-long conversation with you to try to get something going, and it's like, nope.
Delete, block. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a job in that way, because sometimes with a normal job, there's roadblocks and there's things that you
Sure.
can't figure out, or there's a sale that you've been working with somebody for a long, long time and they still won't buy your product. It's the same thing.
Yep.
You know, you get scammed, you get pushed over, you get told no, you get told to lose weight. You know, it's a lot of crap that you get
Shouldn't have
put
to
out in
happen.
front of you, but you just got to keep going. So
Yep, absolutely. What's your best way to connect with people on Instagram? I'm guessing is kind of your main platform, or how do you reach out with other people and make those connections?
yeah, I would say Instagram's my biggest platform because I previously already made a modeling page. So one pro tip, I would say that if you are wanting to pursue modeling and go on social media, do not do it on your personal. I would make a separate modeling page. This is just my opinion, because if you are not, number one, if you're not wanting your family or certain people to see what you are posting, leave the family to them, to that page, and then have your professional modeling page on the other hand. Because I know some families, such as mine, are very religious, and sometimes they don't agree with certain pictures I post. So I like to just separate that, you know, and they respect it too. They're like, yeah, I understand. And I'm like, let's just separate that. So I would definitely make a business modeling page with your name, where to reach out to you. Even if you want to put like your rates, or if you do TFP, you could put that in your bio. I don't. But basically, DMing is my thing that I do, or Messenger on Facebook. I am trying to create another modeling Facebook. It's kind of hard to transition into that because Facebook's a little bit harder to go through. It's the older app. I'm just kidding. Basically, just reaching out. One thing that's really good that I've done, and it kind of looks weird at first, and if you guys look at my Instagram, you'll see the difference between my followers and the people I'm following. Now, I just click on really big profiles, and especially modeling profiles or photographer profiles, and I click and I add people. I add everybody. And you're going to get a lot of followers that way because they're already in the
thought train there.
Yeah, they're wanting to look at that content.
Yeah.
They're already interested in looking in modeling content, or photographers that are already on Instagram quite often. So they are already in search of models. So me just clicking all the time, yeah, it looks weird right now, the ratio, but it is going to help get a lot of followers and likes and, you know, just shout outs, people reaching out and everything like that at first. Then I would say if you like a certain photographer's work, or if you know that they are within your area, like a state away, a few states away, few towns away, whatever, message them and say, hey, I love your work. Where are you located? Would love to collab at some point. Just that basic sentence, that is going to get you in the door for an interest. And then the conversation goes on from there at that point.
Cool. That's some really good tips. Absolutely. Curious, now that we talked about posting and people not liking your posting, you ever posted something on your modeling page that you intended to post, but you kind of regretted later?
Yes.
Just once, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, no. A few times. I wouldn't say it's all the time, but sometimes I do look back, maybe if it's like months or years or whatever, and I'm like, ooh, this is not looking good right now. What I'll do is I'll archive it. I would never delete anything, because when you're older, you want to look back on everything and you want to say, you know what? I know I deleted this, or I archived it 2 years ago, but let me go look at this again. Okay, you know what? I don't think it's that bad anymore. I was just going through something and okay, I'll put it back on my page.
I'm good with
So that's
this
what I
now.
do. I don't ever delete anything because it's you, it's your art, it's what you've posted, it's what you've built. So I am a firm believer of keeping your work, but if you don't want to see it, just put it away for a little bit.
That's a good tip. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But yes, I've done that a few times.
Okay. No, you're not alone. We've all been there. If you're doing any of that, people will understand that a lot. But I'm just curious because you never know. I'm curious a little bit, and kind of we get into a few minutes here of just kind of more personal for you. But tell me about your family and being a little bit, you said religious, and how does that affect the modeling?
So my parents were very religious growing up. So I wasn't really allowed to watch certain things, do certain things, really wasn't allowed to date that much. I mean, I did what I wanted. I was very rebellious. Looking back, I don't regret what I've done, but I do regret the way I did it. It was more just disrespectful. But I was a teenager, you just go through it. We're all good now, but they were very strict. So me looking at this now, I'm like, okay, I understand that this is your beliefs and everything, and this is the way you view things, but it's not how I view things. So if you don't feel comfortable with what I'm doing, let me know and I'll separate it.
Right.
That's what I'm doing right now. It's basically like, hey, are you able to handle this? Are you able to not make comments? Are you able to not judge?
Right.
And if you are, I will tell you everything that I've done. I will show you pictures, whatever. But if you are not able to do that, I don't care if you're family, friends, somebody I just met, my significant other, if you're not able to handle that, I'm not going to let you into that part of my life because I want it to be as positive and as uplifting and as motivational as I can. And if somebody's being negative in your life, even if it's your parents or your best friend, it's not going to help you. It's going to weigh you down. It's going to make yourself doubt yourself. Your confidence is going to go way down, and you don't need that. You need people who are going to support you and uplift you and be there for you.
Yep. Did you sit down and have a conversation with them about that, or did you just kind of go along?
It was just more brief. I would say it was more brief. My mom was more of like, I don't want to see him. Like, I don't want to see everything. Like normal stuff, that's fine, but she doesn't want to see like anything more of like, like bikinis,
risque.
lingerie, or whatever. Yeah, just more of the risque side. And then my dad was more like, I don't care if you show me stuff, but I may not look at that stuff because you're my daughter, so it's kind of weird. So he was more chill about it, but she was more like, hey, I don't want to. But it was a good boundary, it's better to have that communication than not,
Yeah, totally.
And then all the other relatives, I'm just like, if they really want to see him, I will show them, but I don't think they will.
Live their life, right? So.
Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have.
Were you the only rebellious one?
I would say so. Yeah, he's the complete opposite of me. I have a 19-year-old brother. He is very successful. He's going into he's in college. I think this is his sophomore, junior year. Something like that. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, he's doing really, really well. He is in theater and film production. He's going that aspect. He's a really awesome actor. He follows me and he supports me very much.
Good.
So he understands, and I understand completely for him too, because we're both in the end wanting to be in the industry and getting into the industry of putting yourself out there. And it's a really big risk, like acting and TV and film, like that's a big thing. Modeling and potentially acting in commercials, that's a big thing too. It's putting yourself out there, and you have got to not be judged, especially by the people that love and care about you. So we're very much on the same wavelength of that.
Cool. Well, you need that support group, and you guys will always kind of be there for each other then too. So that's cool. Yeah. We like to touch on the mental health for a few minutes. Is that something that's ever been affected you? Has the stress of being a model or the stress of maybe going through divorce and those kind of things, have they put you into negative places in your life? Yeah,
I mean, I will kind of just briefly say that I have been through a lot in my life. Partially the reasons why that I have moved. Pretty rough childhood. Been in a lot of really rough, life-changing situations that I should have not been in.
Sure.
And I was, but now I am out of that and I am good. I'm safe. I'm all good with that. So yeah, I kind of still struggle struggle with my past, and I'm still trying to work through it because sometimes it does come up in certain situations and I'm like, why am I acting like this? What am I doing? Like, so I'm just trying to navigate that past life and make sure it's not coming into my current.
Is that some of the rebellion that we talked about, or is it outside forces kind of working against you?
Both. I would say both. Like me putting myself in a situation that I shouldn't have been. Yes, that was rebellion, but I also was a teenager. So,
Yep.
I
find the boundaries.
was still very young. So I can't beat myself up too much about that. Like stuff happens.
Yes.
And then a lot of outside. So things I couldn't control. And it just happened and made me the person I am today. So I'm very, very, very thankful for that.
Yeah.
And then with the modeling, yes, body image is a big thing that I do struggle with. Just making, like, I look in the mirror one day and I'm like, wow, like I look really good. Like I look thin, I look, toned, whatever. And then some days I'm like, oh my gosh, I look like a hippo. What is happening right now? And then, like some pictures you look and you're like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I look great. And then there's some pictures you're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I look really bad. Like, so it's more of like seeing two versions of yourself and constantly battling. Like, I don't even want to see that bad version of myself. How can I get that completely out? And that's really hard to do. It's extremely hard, especially as a model, to not nitpick at every single little thing. But the only thing that you can do is focus on yourself, because if all you do is look at everybody else, you are not going to get better. Like, you can look at somebody who's eating healthy and doing skincare all the time, and people watch TikToks hours on end, but they're not doing anything about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're like, oh yeah, this lady's doing skincare and she looks amazing and she's a model. Yeah. Okay, well, get something similar and do it every day. You will see a change within yourself. You're not going to look like her.
So hard?
Yeah, you're not going to look like her. You're not going to look like any of these people. You're only going to look like yourself. So change yourself into the best version. You can look similar, but you are not going to look exactly like that.
Totally.
So that's basically what I'm struggling with and trying to really, really, really teach myself.
Can I ask a deep question there? This is maybe too deep for where we're at in this conversation. But do you think that those hard to see pictures, the rough ones, we all have those, do you think those make the good ones even better?
Wow, I never actually thought of that. That is a really, really good observation. I would say, yeah. I would say yes. But I'm pretty hard on myself.
Sure.
So I'm like, I shouldn't even have those. And that's something that I need to get out, because I'm a human being and everybody's a human being. If somebody else showed me pictures and they showed me a bad one, I'd be like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, oh my gosh. But with myself, 100%. I'm like, I'm the type of person. Yes. I'm a type of person where it's like, if I fail, I don't even want to try again. Like, like I have that constant struggle where it's like, sometimes I'm too scared to do what I'm supposed to do because I don't want to fail. I have such a fear of being a failure. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, especially nowadays, where it's like, why even try something, because everybody likes instant gratification.
Yes.
They want to post a picture and they want to blow up immediately, and they want to have millions of followers, and they just want to, that's it.
Dream life after that.
Yeah, that can happen, but it's extremely, extremely rare.
Totally.
It's not necessarily going to happen. So yeah, you can hope and dream, but you have to put in that work. You have to stay consistent. You have to keep going, no matter if you feel like crap, no matter if you are looking at a picture and you're like, oh, this is horrible. Like I can't even get one like on my picture. You will one day. Somebody's going to see it,
Somebody somewhere.
There's tons of people, like, just don't give up, post constantly, talk to people constantly. Don't sell yourself short. Fake it till you make it. That's for sure.
Do you have any rituals or things that you do in your life? Some people work out, some people meditate, some people journal. Do you have any of those kind of things that have helped you along the way as well?
Yeah, working out has definitely helped, especially if I get into a mood and I'm like feeling really unmotivated. I work out, whether that's running. I've been doing more weightlifting, just toning up right now. That's what I've been mostly focusing on.
Yep.
But running has always helped get my mind off of it and get that anger and stress and whatever I'm feeling out.
Yep.
Sometimes if that doesn't work, just like self-affirmations of saying, I am this, I'm going to be this, this is what's going to happen in my life, blah, 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 blah. And even if you don't believe it, just say it. Just keep continuing to say it. Because I remember when I was literally left with nothing and my world was falling apart, I was like, I'm going to be somebody someday. It's going to happen. I still have a long time, because we all do. We do have a long time. It doesn't matter if you're 19, doesn't matter if you're 59. We still have a long time. A year is a long time. 10 years is a long time. A few weeks is a long time. Whatever. It can happen for you. You have to just stay consistent with your mindset. And just, the mindset can be negative. It can't, but you alter it and you say things and do things that can change your mindset. So those are the two things that I would say that really helps me is the working out and then the affirmations.
Right. Yeah. And just to add to what you're saying there, like mindset isn't always everything's just perfect all the time, right? Because generally the optimist dies first, but it's that kind of forward thinking that regardless of what you're facing, you're just going to keep moving forward, like you're saying, right? So
100%.
Cool. Very good. Dream brands, dream shoots, things you want to accomplish in the next few years.
Okay. I want to be on a magazine. I want to be on a billboard, hopefully runway. I know that I am too short to be on an actual runway. Fun fact, you have to be 5'7" or taller.
Yes.
To be on runway. So I'm only 5'2".
Okay.
But I could do swimsuit, I could do lingerie. There is possibilities for that. So there's possibilities for anybody. But the main runway, I wish I was a little bit taller, but I'm gonna work with what I got.
Gotta figure out how to walk in really tall heels, that's all.
Yes, I'm just listen, I can be 5'7", just give me 5-inch heels, I'll be fine.
I'm good to go,
It's gonna look weird, but just video
hold me up when I need to be.
Up, just video half, it's fine. Anyways, definitely makeup brands and stores like Ulta, Sephora, Clinique, Elf, anything, Rare Beauty, just kind of throwing things out there that people know. Any commercial stores too. I think that's fun, like Target. Abercrombie, American Eagle, even Shein, anything that is kind of just out there. So I can just kind of show myself out to brands that everybody sees, even brands that not everybody sees too. I think that would be fun. Perfumes, love to do a perfume shoot. Would love that. Jewelry, anything. I'm really just an open book. I'm very flexible, whatever's going to head my way, but yes, definitely big things are going to come ahead. I feel happening.
Do you have a bunch of stuff booked now? You don't have to tell us.
I do have a few. A few shoots. Trying to book a tour for next year around, I would say either March or May. Okay. I would try to do a tour. And for anybody who doesn't know what a tour is, it's basically where you have a bunch of shoots lined up and you kind of travel wherever the shoots are, and you do that for about a week or two. And it's nonstop shooting, and it's amazing. It's fun, but it's going to be exhausting. You're going to need a vacation. You need a vacation. I haven't personally been on it, but I have done a 6-hour shoot, so I do know it can be exhausting for one day.
That's a long time. People think standing from the camera is easy, but there's more to it than that.
And then I have an amazing convention coming up. It's called Shutterfest.
Cool.
That's in St. Louis, Missouri.
Nice.
And I don't know if you ever heard of that. Have you ever heard of that?
I have. I don't know if I knew it was in St. Louis, but
yes. So we signed up in, I think, November. Either October or November, something like that. Okay. And me and Anna signed up together. And I think it's only 250 models out of the whole United States. And a bunch of photographers pay to be there. And it's a 3-day convention and it's nonstop shooting. And I do know a few really awesome shoots that I will be doing. Body Paint Suicide Squad. Very excited for that.
That'll be cool.
I will be Harley. I'm very excited.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You've got the right look for that. That'll be good. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. I'll keep the blonde. I'm going to keep that for a while. Yes. And then I've got another one with a parachute or something like that. It's going to be it's going to be wild. It's going to be cool.
Crazy.
Very excited for it. So that's kind of what I've got coming up. Cool. It's been kind of slow. I will say that. It's been. I'm sure that you kind of agree, especially for the holidays. It's been kind of
this time of year stuff. Everybody shuts down.
Yeah, I'm I'm trying to reach out and
just rest.
Yeah, they're like,
Get
oh, we're
prepared.
family. I'm like, okay, well, just let me know,
Yeah, we'll get it happening.
But
Yeah.
it's all the beginning of the year. Everybody's like, I'll get back to you January. I'll get back to you February.
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
Fine. Want to know now?
Just let me know now.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's good. How do people get a hold of you? They want to follow you or support
Okay.
you.
So Instagram's my main platform. It's Madison_models, Madison, just way you spell it. And
Sure.
then Facebook is Madison Nye, Madison again. And then for anybody who doesn't have social media, my email is madinye78@gmail.com. So
Cool.
you can reach out to me at any point for any questions, any advice, or if you want to shoot with me,
Collab
or if
somewhere.
you ever want to collab as models, that would be awesome.
Yeah, cool. We'll make sure that stuff's in the description as well. So if anybody's interested in working with Madison, she's got a lot of experience already, and give her another couple of months and she'll be full on pro. So my favorite question of the night: if Instagram blows up, you post 2 more photos and you end up with 1 million followers, could happen. What kind of advice or things would you want to share with the people that decided to follow you all of a sudden?
I would say that I really would say that becoming the person that I am today, if I were to have 1 million followers, is not by chance. It is by experience. It is by living through what you've been through, getting through your past, living through it, whatever you're going through, continue to go through it, because things can happen for you. Things can change for you. I've been through a lot in my life, and everybody else has too. So many other people have been through way worse than I have ever been. And just never giving up and continuing to focus on your dreams. If you really want it, if you have a passion for something, pursue it no matter what. No matter what anybody says, anybody does, you just got to do it. That would be my main message right there.
Wow. Very good one. Very good one. Cool. Well, thank you, Madison, for joining us. We look forward to following you. You're still very young, and your career has just got so far to go yet. We're excited to watch that as it progresses. And so thank you for sharing what you have, and we look forward to connecting further down the road too. So
thank you so much, and I cannot wait to speak with you again. And bye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for coming on.